What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day as always. Today we're going to be working on my 2004 Jeep WJ. Basically, I'm going to try to get this thing wrapped up and ready to drive by the end of the day. As you can see, there's quite a bit of work we have to do. Have to reinstall the headlights. I got to get all these tires swapped out, check all the fluids, make sure it's good. This thing has sat for years. It's probably been 3 years at this point that it's just moved around my driveway and never really gone anywhere. Have to get these tires swapped out because none of them are holding air whatsoever. So we have quite a bit of work cut out for us today, but I want to get this thing wrapped up so that way we can let Kenzie drive this off-road. When we go off-roading, I'll take the Wrangler. This is a much better vehicle to learn in, and you guys seem to like the videos of her driving, so why not let her drive this one? It's the least valuable out of all of them, so we'll let her take this one in case she messes it up. Also, I've mentioned this before, but we have a lug nut issue here at Rocky TV. We seem to never have all of the lug nuts on this Jeep. This one specifically, kind of just because I take them all off. That one doesn't even have a stud in there, just 4 lug nuts. The other side I think is good though, because that's when we put our new lug nuts on that I bought a couple months back when we did the wheel bearings and all that stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead, break this tire loose, take it off and swap it out. So I got the tire off. Don't think that's going to be holding air anymore. That is not how the tire is supposed to look, but it's whatever. We got more. You can tell that I have not driven this thing because even the brake rotors are just rusted over. Now that should be fine after we drive it. I mean, I'm sure they could use replacing and they're not in great condition, but they'll do for this Jeep. This Jeep will probably get driven twice a month maybe. It's going to be the least likely to be driven out of all of them. It'll be nice to be able to drive this though sometimes and keep miles off the Wrangler. So here we are at my little tire storage area. We have a ton of stuff back here. We got the 40 off the Wrangler, covered up by this little kid pool thing. Then we got a bunch of Rubicon takeoff wheels, Grand Cherokee takeoff wheels. I probably have enough tires and wheels back here to put them on my Jeeps for the next few years and be fine. A lot of them are used, some of them are brand new. We just need 2 of these, and this one's tread looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead, grab this one, roll it over here so that way we have it. Then we just got to find one more because we only need 2 to replace them both on the driver's side. This one actually looks really good. This one looks brand new. Tread is amazing on that, so we'll go ahead and take these 2 up to the house. All right, I've gone ahead and swapped both tires over, so we got 2 tires that'll hold air now. This one's really bad. I'm pretty sure the bead popped off too, so that one's definitely never going to drive again. We still have the wheel though, so that'll be nice, and that one's probably also bad. But we got 2 new ones on here, so we should be good to go as far as wheels and tires are concerned. Now, just because it's really bothering me, I'm going to go ahead and put these headlights back in. Should take 5 minutes. Pretty simple, straightforward task. I just never really put them back together right once we tinted these headlights. Alright, so the headlights are in. We're good to go there. I didn't show you guys the process just because we all know how to put headlights in. Next up is I'm going to check the fluids and all of that kind of stuff. Just because this Jeep has been sitting for so long, I want to make sure it still has the right amount of oil because we all know these things leak oil. Just check all the fluids, make sure everything's all good. I think the transfer case still needs fluid before we drive it. Just go over everything, give it a quick overview before we turn it on and let it run for a little bit because I don't want to mess this thing up too bad. Just sitting here making sure it still works. Also, should we do a stinger bumper on this Grand Cherokee or should we do a little bit more of a clean bumper, cleaner look, low profile like the Wrangler's bumper on here? Let me know down in the comments which one you guys like more. I kind of like the clean look. However, I think the stinger would look really sick once we put the custom cage in. So let me know down in the comments. So the oil actually looks all right. We have enough. It's definitely a little dark and could use an oil change. But I'm more concerned about how much we have. I mean, the Jeep has like 204,000 miles. It's not going to have perfect oil. I honestly am not sure the last time we changed it. So we'll definitely do that in the future. Just not right now. It should be good enough to run the Jeep on. Alright, so the jumper cables are hooked up. We should be good to go to start the Jeep. And honestly, it might start first try because I think the other day when I had to move it, it did. So let's go ahead and hop in and give this a shot. Alright, we're going to have to let this charge for a little bit. Alright, it's charged, so let's give this another shot. Honestly, this thing turned on a lot easier than I thought it was going to. My plan now is to let it heat up and get up to operating temperatures and just see how it runs, see if there's any issues we have to address before we take this off-roading. I'd rather figure it out now in the driveway than be 20 minutes away on the trail stuck in the woods. Alright, so it's been running for probably 5 minutes now, and I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up on camera, but it is smoking quite a bit from the engine and then underneath on the exhaust. I'm pretty sure it leaks oil and drips it down onto the exhaust where it crosses over. Then it burns like this. It does it like every time I start it up every other year at this point. But I'm gonna let it keep running and just see what happens. It should burn off fairly quickly. Alright, so it's like 10 minutes later, so like 15 minutes, and it is still smoking. If anything, it has gotten worse, so this is not an ideal situation. But I think it might just be a lot of oil that needs to burn off, so we're gonna let it keep running and hope it doesn't get any worse. I'm gonna keep looking at the temps and everything like that and just see how it goes. So all the temperatures and gauges and everything look good. They're where they're supposed to be. Obviously we're out of gas, but temperature is right there at 210. Everything looks fine as far as this goes. I'm pretty sure all these gauges work perfectly fine, so shouldn't be a huge issue. This is also what I was talking about with switches for the lockers on the other Grand Cherokee. I think I'm gonna put them right there. That just reminded me to show you guys that. But it is still smoking a lot. Alright, so we had an issue. I was sitting in my Wrangler because I had AC. Kind of wasn't paying attention too much, and it overheated. And I'm not sure when I caught it or how long it had been overheating. Couldn't have been that long because I was sitting right in front of it. But yeah, we had an issue there, and it's still smoking because I did just turn it off. It's going to be smoking either way, but it's still burning off oil. It still smells like oil, so hopefully it's nothing too major. I have to wait for it to cool off basically, then we'll see what's up with it, what's going on. I want to check the oil, make sure it's not all milky or anything like that, check the coolant, but I'm not really sure what it could be just because I haven't messed with this car. I don't remember any issues it did have when I last drove it, so we're basically gonna have to let this thing cool off and take a look once it's done. Alright, so the engine is cool now, and unfortunately it does sort of smell like coolant now, but maybe we just have a coolant leak, I'm not really sure. But there's some stuff I definitely need to address, like the valve cover gasket is 100% leaking, as it's not supposed to, but it is. So we'll probably need to take care of that anyway, which means if we have to do a head gasket, we have to. It's not the end of the world. Already going in there a little bit, so we might as well take it the rest of the way apart. But I'm going to go ahead and I had to wait for that to cool down, obviously, so I'm going to check the oil in the meantime and see what it looks like. Alright, so the oil actually does not look bad. I mean, it's still pretty dark and not ideal, but it's not like milky, and we have enough of it, so it's not really that terrible. I'm pretty glad about that. It would have sucked to see milky oil in here. So next, honestly, I'm probably going to wait and let it cool off some more. But this could possibly be the thermostat, because I've had that issue before where it gets stuck shut after you don't drive for a little bit. That could be our issue, and that's a pretty easy, straightforward, I think it's like 3 bolts to replace that and like $8. So hopefully it's something stupid like that. I'm going to wait for it to cool off some more, and then we'll pop the cover off of the radiator, or the cap off the radiator, and see what that's like. This video did not end up how I was expecting it to. My plan was to drive this by the end of the day, but instead it's overheated and we're not sure what the issue is. So next up, you'll see a video on figuring out why it's overheating. Hopefully it's not like a head gasket or something like that. If it is, we'll fix it, and you'll see how to do that in a video. I was hoping to get this thing done by Sunday so we could let Kenzie drive it, but it does not appear we're going to be able to do that. So as always, guys, if you have any input on what this could be, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.